Welcome back, everybody. Hey, Marie.
Hello, hi.
Hello, guys.
I like hello. No.
I hope you guys are ready tonight. Well, it's cold. It's cold where I am. I don't know. Marie, are you in Houston or are you in the other side of
Oh,
the
I am
great
in
big state?
Dallas, but I did. My daughter sent me lovely photos of my granddaughter playing in the snow.
Your grand dog turd.
But so no, it's just been cold here. So I want to say I was getting coffee this morning and it was 27 out, which I was disappointed with myself for not wearing a coat. No, initially when I left the house, I was like, oh,
Shame
I'm
to you.
like I should have had a coat on. Like this is you might get sick.
You might get sick.
I could
Oh
get sick.
no. I too am bad about that. I generally am not a person who gets cold. If
Mhm.
you noticed, or you probably noticed,
I
if
mean,
y'all,
yeah, you're
I
in a
generally,
motivator
uh,
right now. You're like, yes, I work out and I work out. And here I am.
but look, I haven't even done. I
Tough
feel so bad at myself for not maintaining the schedule that I had when I was going to the gym. But then that's kind of like the catch 24 about working out at home. You probably won't do it as much as you would be doing it if you had to make yourself go somewhere. So it's been a discipline thing. So but I'm glad that the results are still resulting. That's
it's still resulting. I don't actually like my bench is actually folded up, and then the idea of unfolding it and putting the things in the places it goes seems like an inconvenience. I'm like, where's it gonna go? Then I have to take it back down and put it back up. Like this, this is
that's
a lot.
funny. What
Um,
type of bench? You mean like a bar bench, or you have like a what do you have?
I'm assuming it is technically a weight bench,
Okay.
but it's in the way. So much furniture in my guest room. I can't put it in there, so it's like I actually have it folded, broken down, and it's like behind my couch on the side. But even this morning, I was like, I should probably do that. But
You
my excuse today for not working out is my water intake was low, and I didn't get a lot of sleep last
no,
night.
you gotta be responsible about these things. I do find that I have an issue staying hydrated, but then I have like cups. I have my stay awake cup, and then I have my hydration cup, and then
Yeah,
I
I've had
have
some
my
coffee today. I've had some water, and then now I'm drinking bourbon. So well, so today won't be that day, just so we're clear. But tomorrow's always amazing.
it's always tomorrow. Um,
Well,
and look,
what's
that's
like?
actually that's a perfect segue into our conversation tonight because while it is labeled "Baby, it's cold outside," there's always tomorrow. I the climate,
There tomorrow,
it's
though.
cold,
Like,
right?
but is
We
there a
are
tomorrow? May
there
not
is
be shit
tomorrow.
left when all this is said and done. Is there tomorrow?
Well, I mean, maybe if you check the background, I don't know if y'all peeped it. Let's give.
I feel like we're dealing with the apocalypse. I mean, I don't know. Have you seen some of the executive orders today that came out? I'm like, the funny part is like, I wanted to keep TikTok, but like, I don't care. I don't care enough. That's how I want to say it. So a part of me is like, yeah, I'm disappointed. Then you got it back, but like, there's so many other things. I had even a friend, my friend Candy. She was like, she had messaged me like, so everyone's upset and balls to the wall about TikTok, but I mean, there's women's rights. There's like all these other things, and this the thing we like. But get us our damn app. Then we like, you know how we gonna really stick it to them? We gonna join Red Note. Like an app. We do not need another app. We need to insurrect. We need a revolution.
Might need a
Not
revolution.
another app. We're like, well, fine. We're going to join the Chinese Republic app. We're like, don't worry about us.
Um, People definitely were having crash out moments because of TikTok ending, and I'm not
There were
gonna lie.
funerals.
I,
There were funerals. Keisha was like, I know you're wondering why I'm so tired. I've been watching She's like, I've been watching TikTok funerals all morning because I had them visiting. I come out like, why are y'all asleep? Well, I got up early to watch the TikTok funerals. Like,
the petty. Oh, the petty. Well, I mean, that's the thing. This is a time I find that people are going to go low, especially when you don't want them to, and you're just gonna have to pull up your big girl panties, big boy boxers, and deal, because life is hard, and it's going to get harder because people are being stupid. But I wanted to start us off here. Shout out to the good brother Phil. I don't give him enough shout outs.
Who sent that to you? Because I was hoping it wasn't your husband, because then I don't know what we're about to watch.
No, actually, this was
Look him up.
Shout out to my man. But no, Phil, the guy in the video,
so your man did give you
couple channels, and I think his information is really good. Sometimes he's finding something that I haven't come across yet. Sometimes he's on the money with the same information, but this is a video that I hadn't seen. So gotta give some shout outs when people are coming across things. You might have seen it first because, you know, we're on different platforms. We come together like butt cheeks when it's the YouTube time, but you know, our main social media.
You're on Instagram and Facebook.
Right. So you might have seen it. I didn't, but here it goes.
Let's go ahead and play this. And we will get some education in here too tonight. So let's go ahead and play this.
Please stay for this, because I've reached the part in this whole like class consciousness part where I'm just filled with the most impotent rage. And like, I'm talking that white hot, I need to sink my teeth and into something and scream kind of rage. Because what do you mean that it never had to be this hard for us? Like, what do you mean in other countries they don't have to spend 20% of their paycheck on groceries? What do you mean in other countries everyone can own homes because they're not paying $2,000 a month in rent, or that their mortgages aren't like their entire paycheck? What do you mean that people in China work one job and they don't even work 40 hours and they can easily afford their life? And then I'm over here working 60 hours a week, just me as a single parent, to like barely make ends meet. And I'm penny pinching every single second. And like, there's so much of life that my kid misses out on and that I miss out on because of money and like work and no social support net. And you mean to tell me that it didn't have to be like this? They keep us in these chains on purpose, and it never had to be like this. Like, I did everything right. I went to college. I had to drop out of college to take care of my mom when she was sick because, again, no social services, like no safety nets. My dad worked his whole life and died and left everything to my mom. My mom was disabled, and she lived on credit, and like, she barely made ends meet, and she did everything she was supposed to. And I did everything I was supposed to. And it just keeps getting worse. It was never supposed to be like this. And I'm so angry that it is. Because what do you mean? I've spent so much of my life working so hard to scrape by. And it never had to be like that. My suffering was at the expense of someone else becoming wealthy because they could. And I am so angry about this. It can't stay like this. It doesn't have to stay like this.
It doesn't have to stay like this, you guys.
So I guess
I bet you didn't think I was gonna go here tonight.
Was not prepared for that. So this is what I will say. If I was full white.
Hold up, I can't hear you anymore.
I know, because I never say these kind of things too, so you really don't hear me. If
Oh,
I
that's
had
a-
both a white mother and a white father, I too would be concerned as to why I'm a white woman having to do all these fucking things. Like, what? You mean I'm out here struggling? Like, you mean I'm out here? You mean me, my whiteness hasn't bought me some type of immunity to hardship? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what do you mean I'm white? They told me I was white. Like, that was supposed to be enough. And like, here I am living like at like the lower middle class, like barely making it, working class American. Like, I too would be bothered.
First
Like,
of
it's
all,
concerning. We've convinced
Yeah,
white people. Sorry, you guys, my MacBook is doing things. Clearly, I'm not a lower middle class white woman. So we've convinced white people there was one time we told them it was just enough to be white. And I think there's a frustration because that's not true. That's
but Marie, I thought that I thought you were here for this. I thought that this is and this is not my man. He sent this as a peace offering.
But that was okay, long as it wasn't because that other shit your husband be sending.
That's what I was saying. This is a peace offering for you, I think.
Actually okay.
But from me, I thought that you were here for the rage, the white rage. Damn, did my camera just glitch? I don't know.
You froze on us. However, I do understand the white rage, so I'm here for it, and that's why I said so. I absolutely am here for it. I would understand as a white woman. Now, as a woman that identifies as Black, who happens to have a white mom as a coincidence. It's just a coincidence, like some crazy odd coincidence. White women don't wield any power without white men, so understand that. That being said, as a Black woman who happens to have a white mother, I expect hardship. In fact, I feel like she chose a hard life when she chose a Black man. If I'm just being honest, like that's what you picked. Damn. So
well, that's definitely a conversation.
Could have done better. I always say if I come back in my next life, my daddy's gonna be white. Like I did this wrong.
You always trip me out when you say that because I don't want to be associated with them people. But remember our last conversation with Dr. Winters, and he's all like, karma might have switched everything around, and we used to be white, and then now we get the Black experience.
Yeah, you weren't good people when you were white. You were bad people. That's how you showed up Black. And then my thought process is I must have been an okay person. I made a mistake somewhere there. But I do feel that white women yield white men's power. So it's not that white women have power because they're powerless as well in the patriarch. However, their tears, their agony, they use white men, they weaponize that. And they use white men to get legislation passed, things done. And we've seen it historically, whether it's Emmett Till or somebody else, it's always some white woman that's
I would offer
using white men to go out and do the thing. So you need the white man in order to carry out whatever fucking atrocity that you'd like to do.
Sure. But that to me would mean that the white woman ultimately has the power.
I mean she's a bad person. Absolutely.
The Daughters of the Confederacy, and then just the bare fact that the woman, the mother, is the first teacher. You learn your hate from somewhere, and
and that's so Jesse said it. So Jesse said it right there. That power only works against non-white men.
Oh, for sure. It does not work against the.
So you don't have as much power unless you're wielding against people that don't look like you.
Absolutely.
But if you look like you,
if you buy into the system, for sure.
Absolutely.
So then what you have really, and I know some of y'all are going to hate me for saying this, but what you have really are that there's some good white people out here just existing, and they're not racist. They don't have a racist bone in their body. They just benefit.
I mean, that is true. I mean, that's absolutely true. Just like I benefit from a certain level of privilege. It's not that I picked that. It's not that I chose my parents. I mean, I think I did, and I just did it wrong. You know what I mean? Because you know what I be saying. However, in essence, there are white people out there that aren't able to, that aren't in the position of power. Even when we talk about when the Constitution was established, we talk about wealthy white men, not poor white men, not you know, but the catch is that even for the system to work the way it does, it's like there's laws in place and there's things that kind of influence their decision making. No different than if we were to say, you know, there were just like there were black slave overseers, there were whites, there were laws put in place too, where if you seen something, you seen a black do something and you didn't say something, you were going to jail. They were burning down your house too. So there's been a lot of things that influence people to take a certain position, or else it impacts their livelihood.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to start playing. I would say that, Jesse, I'm on your side. Don't know about the language, but you're allowed. Liberal whites are worse with regards to, you know, sneaky-ish. I think that they've lost their way, and for what it's worth, the
neoliberals,
racists in the crowd have learned a thing or two about being more clever, about being more chess moving. But at the end of the day, you know, two wings, same bird. I'm on one side of all of this, and the climate is cold, but I've gotten used to it. I'm from here. You know, I mean, it's snowing, but it's not anything that I'm unfamiliar with. So then what I find is that people are coming into an environment that some people have been very, maybe not comfortable, but just existing, and maybe comfortably or not, but just existing. And then damn, if you have to have any type of hardship, well, shit, what to do? And sometimes they do the most. I mean, from taking themselves out to taking their family and themselves out to taking other people out just because they
you say taking out, be very specific too. Like you mean killing.
Oh, I mean killing.
Let's talk more about Trump than anyone, and then went in the booth and voted for white power.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. What I came into tonight wanting to talk about was this fake black outrage from Black women, because they said that they were angry about white women not showing up to the polls for Kamala. But, you know, I mean, Marie and I have had this conversation about, you know, if you had just done anything that made sense, it would have been really easy for you to won the presidency. But then every time she opens her mouth, she doesn't say anything that makes sense. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? But it's like, well, what do you do? And when other people finally have some hardships and they start doing the most, you know, killing the people around them, going to an area, killing people that aren't around them, killing themselves and or killing themselves and their family. It's just really strange.
I don't, you know, even when you say that, I found it so weird to see how much support, and even that whole, and I don't know, maybe it's because I have a white mom, but that whole idea of, you know, we're not doing anything because we went and did our part by voting for Kamala, as if the role of someone that's an empire leader doesn't represent white supremacy. Like the idea that you think that you can separate, oh, well, because they're color or whatever. Like, we've been witnessing people with black faces in high places for quite some time undermine.
For sure. You can look at all the Democratic run black cities and
Atlanta,
see
cop cities.
Shit.
Like,
Absolutely.
So we've been seeing lots of that. So to me, this the idea, oh, being black for me isn't enough to get my vote. Not saying I voted for Trump, because I did not, but you just showing up being black, half black, kind of black. If you're black this week, maybe you're Indian, whatever. Like, that's just not a fucking enough for me. It cannot be trusted anymore. Just like even someone being a woman, it's not enough for me. Because even too, we see women undermine women every fucking day out here. It's not enough. But for so many black women, especially astute women, black women with influence, to just stand behind Kamala, and Kamala like consistently be unable to hold her own in a room, consistently backtrack, even her values. It's like, one minute, are you a conservative? Are you trying to appeal to a conservative? Even her stance on immigration, you're for immigration, like you're for, you know, you're anti-immigrants. I'm not. So to me, I'm like, build a wall for what? Who the fuck is finna pick my motherfucking fruit? And that does sound a little racist. We're like,
Well, as a Black identifying woman, you're gonna have to stop saying that it's racist unless you feel like it's the white side coming out, and then you could
I don't
be
know,
racist.
maybe
I don't know.
I'm planning for my next life when I have a white father and I can wield his power. That wield his power. But that
I'm not being racist, but
I do need to. I want to be cautionary about the fact that Hispanics or immigrants in general provide more than just someone picking up fruit for me. They provide more than just labor. I think that there's value in diversity. I think there's value in different backgrounds. And that doesn't just include racial diversity. That includes disabilities. That includes different backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds. I think there's value in that. In fact, those are the things that kind of do make us great when we're kind of great, but we ain't been great for some time, right? So, that being said, it's so interesting how even some of the most intellectual people have just took a stance to stand behind somebody just because I guess she wasn't Trump. And that's really how she lost the fucking race. She wasn't Trump. That's we're gonna go. We're like there wasn't even enough passion or tenacity or like what it was. All it was anybody but Trump. They would have ran up there for anybody. She didn't even have to. Like really, she didn't even have to be Black or Indian or any of that. They still would have took their ass to the polls to vote for anybody but Trump, but never demanding much, never wanting much, only just wanting someone who isn't Trump. But it's the same regime all the time. And even too, I was just thinking to myself the other day, it was like, okay, so while we do see Trump doing radical things right now with his executive orders, it seems extreme. When have we not had a white supremacist order in office?
Thank you. Say that part again. Just
what if not?
the people in
Someone's
the back.
going to say Obama, but no, still the same shit. Same, like in fact, Obama did his due diligence in being just like his predecessors.
Let's
And I know that's so offensive because he was our first Black president, and that's what he was. He was just the first Black president, and really he was biracial.
And really, he wasn't the first Black president. I mean, people need to start doing deep dives into our story and find out that things aren't as simple as everybody wants it to be. And then when you go deeper, it's like, damn, is there a reason they're just hiding all this shit?
The reality is setting in. I'm hurt. A lot of us are juggling grief, confusion, and defeat at the same time. While many of us fear that the next 4 years, the most vulnerable communities in our country will be under siege. For Black people, Muslim people, migrants, disabled people, women, and other vulnerable groups, this was not just an election defeat. It's a signal that the next 4 years will be plagued by corruption, chaos, and real consequences that will not only hurt our communities, but generations to come.
Now, see, I have issues because this is the Black outrage that I was seeing, and it's like, I don't agree because it's
what is there not been corruption? Help me understand. Help me understand when there's not been fucking corruption.
Right.
Every day there's some kind of fucking corruption. We talk about it all the time. We talk about the corruption in geopolitics. We talk about the CIA. We talk about the FBI. There's always corruption in America. That's what makes me sometimes wonder too, like, how is this not the America you know? In fact, this shit is on brand.
It's almost like people are going out of their way to ignore what they know because they don't like the boogeyman. And while I don't think anybody likes the boogeyman, is there a boogeyman, or are we just needing to turn the light on and, have a little come to Jesus about the shadows versus something spooky? Because if we're already existing with the spooky, then come on now. I've been reading these executive orders all day, it seems. And it's like, I feel why some people would have issues, but then some people that have issues, it's like, did you even read it? Because you're causing all this noise about something that isn't really going to affect you as much as maybe you're not who you say you are. And if people aren't who they say they are, then, I mean, if last year wasn't a big kick in the face to, exposure, I don't know what you're waiting for. It seems like it'd be time to get in front of whatever it is you don't want people to know versus it coming out. And then for what it's worth, there was like a woman running for the Secretary of State in a Midwest in a Midwest state, and she has a husband who is illegal. And I can't think of I think it's like Victoria, maybe. I can't think of what her name is right now. But she was all over Twitter talking about her illegal husband. And I'm like, why are you saying
They wanted to come pick his ass up because
see, and then look, if that's the case, like, goddamn, y'all mad at me, but like,
come get his ass. I've been trying to come in because divorce is expensive.
Marie, the way people who just got their citizenship voted for Trump, but then people want to be mad at me for having any sort of opinion on our borders. No, I don't think a wall is going to secure anything. Have y'all seen the tunnels in New York? Like, it's not just Texas and California. And
those tunnels are for Zionists. How dare
I don't give a shit.
How dare you bring up
all these
fucking elections? How dare you bring that up?
No, all of it's going to have to be exposed and talked about because, look, this is the reality. Is that we've been here for the past 4 years.
It's like I'm gonna cry, but let me log on. Like
I don't know.
Get the video. So do they have a tripod? Because maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need some ambiguous tears.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the way people crash out on camera,
it's so weird.
It's a thing.
Some racially ambiguous tears out there.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. You better get with the times, Marie. It's a fucking thing.
I'm behind. Right? I'm lagging.
I don't know why I'm making this video, but
you do. You know why.
Like,
how many views did she get? Maybe I'm missing my call.
I feel like my husband and I are doing everything.
Oh, right. I remember her.
We both have good jobs. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. I work full time.
Is she a BSN nurse or just a registered? That's like an associate.
We just got paid this past Friday, right? We paid the mortgage, bought some groceries, put some gas in the car. And guys, it is Tuesday. And we have like $200 or $300 to last us until next Friday. Like, we don't live in a big house. We live in a little ranch.
First of all, I would be so offended as her husband.
3 bedrooms, 1 bath, us and our 2 kids. And like,
I'm sorry. Just it was the way she's getting a notification like, bitch, are you really online? No, I'm sorry. This is
I've seen that video.
Older video. Yeah.
It just, to me, just reminded me of someone that's living above their means. And believe me, I purchase things because it makes me feel good sometimes. So I know what it's like. But I think it's just every American. Like, you're materialistic, you're a consumer, you're consuming shit at a rapid rate. You can't afford to keep up with your fucking lifestyle. It's not that lifestyle. Like, yes, it's fucked up here. Don't get it twisted. It's absolutely fucked up here. But you just have fucked up spending habits. Like, Lord, let's not, like, even I know, like, yeah, you could have made a better decision on the shit you just bought.
Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now.
Man, though, too, my wife hopping online to tell everyone we had $300 between 2 of us for 10 days. That's fucking embarrassing. We're getting a fucking divorce because bitch, you make me look bad. Like, you really like that. You telling everybody? Like, if anything, you need to be crying to your husband and see if y'all can come with a plan. You need to get your ass on Dave Ramsey. We don't give a fuck.
Probably why she's on the internet with her tripod, and making live videos.
Like, help me get out of debt.
Jesse, I don't disagree that a lot of the videos are fake and for clout because a lot of
Hell Cutters is fake.
But what I will say is that I, as a tax-paying, law-abiding citizen who is supposed to be here, I don't know about some of these other people. I I find that the rules are not working for everybody the way that they thought that they were going to
That's
work.
not how the rules work anyways, baby. They're not for everybody anyway. They're not for
But
everybody.
here's my thing, Marie. If everybody's coming to the realization that nothing's fair, then what the fuck are we going to do about it? Because if we're just going to get on the internet and just bitch about things, then nothing's going to change. And all of these other countries that everybody's worried about is going to have a reason to come over here and try to do the DEI thing, because America really had the decision between DEI and press one for English, thinking that it was two different things. And it's not. You still get the shit end of the stick, American.
You know, I don't feel how you feel about that at all. I don't share your sentiment.
I know.
But
This is true.
that being said,
But you got to feel me there. I mean, we
but
got the
really what I understand is
one from over here.
fine. So even too, so like someone like me, I don't have a degree, right? I've been able to make significant income. I've done things that kind of someone from my background, cliched, wouldn't have been able to do. But
You
I'm an
posted about this on Facebook. I saw.
But in essence, what it does is it makes people think that there's hope for them. And so the objective, even with capitalism, is that there's hope. Even the American dream is you work hard. That's bullshit. That's
Absolutely.
fucking bullshit. It's not working
Absolutely.
hard. It's working fucking smart. And at the end of the day, that's the fucking bill of goods that are sold to Americans every fucking day and sold to foreigners. And there's so many people that work hard and die fucking poor all the time. And at the end of the day, but that's how capitalism is set up. Like if I actually told you that you weren't going to ever have shit, like would you work as hard? You may not, right? So I have to make you think it's attainable. So I need a few people to make it. I even need a few white people to make it so the other white people think they got a chance too. Like I need a few people to make it everywhere so they all feel, oh, I got a chance. And then they're in this rat race. They're climbing on top of each other. They're clawing at each other. But y'all ain't got no fucking chance. What we're about to see is we're going to see the largest distribution of wealth among white people. We're going to see the largest disparity of income among people in the United States, period. This is what we're entering, because at the end of the day, it really genuinely is a class war. And it doesn't matter what fucking color you are. It's green. It doesn't matter if you're black. It doesn't matter if you're white. What it matters is how much fucking money do you have to play the game? And if you don't have any money to play the game, you don't get to play. Now, the catch is that even when you play big bank, take little bank, after a while, there's no one to participate. So that's how capitalism kind of consumes itself and it eats itself in that way. But the catch is how long will it take for us to get there? Because in essence, too, if everyone thinks they have a chance, there's a bunch of people that are right now trying to make enough money to distinguish themselves from the poor so that the things that are occurring right now won't impact them. But somehow it still will, because even too, my 100,000 doesn't go as far as it used to. 100,000 really is like making 60 or 70,000. Like it's average now, right? And so what happens is everyone's racing to make more, but that more don't mean shit because they just keep moving the fucking mark.
Let me just tell you this though: the reason that you not having a degree and me being multi-degree is what you said about capitalism and then moving the mark. But the reason that there is even a mark is because Black America decided to get competitive. Like capitalism, I don't have an issue with capitalism. I'll never have an issue with having a hierarchy of things, because life is a hierarchy of things. From there, capitalism is a system that only benefits and exists because there's a permanent underclass. We're existing in a time where people are breaking the law left and right. I think we should have some sort of underclass in order to do some of these things, pick the fruit that you don't want to pick.
But is that necessarily so that's the thing though. I think that we have to distinguish the difference between capitalism and just owning a business, right? So I'm going to have employees. So let's say I'm a business owner. Let's say I own like a little store and I have employees and I pay them a wage. And yes, I make more than them because I'm the business owner. I'm not exploiting my employees. So the difference with capitalism and just being a business owner or entrepreneur that has employees is exploitation.
Well, I'm going to say that Jesse's on it. The exploitation that you're talking about is racism. Yes. Like it is the racism of it all that allows any of it to exist. And then the fact that Black America has gotten complacent inside of the system is the reason that we haven't gone further than we've gotten. However, we're going to go far. Let me just finish this one point though, because white America complaining about the cost of things. And again, shout out to Phil, the dude from earlier in the video. He kind of broke this down in his video. But when they decided to say, okay, you don't have to have any chains anymore, you guys can be free. Well, the people with the skills were now free. The people with the skills to do all the work that had been done for hundreds of years were like, hey, you want to work, you pay, work for pay. But you've got a system that says, nah, we don't fuck with y'all like that. Go do your own thing somewhere else. Black Wall Street start popping up. And then, well, you all know what happened to the Black Wall Streets. When Black America became competitive in the system, then things start costing money. There didn't used to be utilities. We didn't used to have to pay for water. We didn't used to have a police precinct in neighborhoods because they weren't policing anybody. I mean, yeah, if you murdered somebody, you might have gone to the deputy's office. The sheriff might have come picked you up. But a lot of the things that everybody has now has been a direct relationship to Black America being policed or making sure that we don't advance. You've got people wanting to swim in pools that are there. Well, now you've got membership fees. You can't swim here. You've got people who want to go to the beach because it's there and it's free. And now you've got, well, sections of the beach are closed off. I mean, Bruce's Beach was a Black owned until eminent domain. There's a lot of things that a lot of people were not dealing with because they're not Black, but because America doesn't give a shit about Americans. Well, if you don't have the resources like you were talking about, and I mean like 1% type of resources, then you're going to feel it. For Snoop to have made a video talking about jigabooing and Uncle Tommen if you do anything for Trump, and then to show up to perform for Trump seems like it's about the money. Doesn't matter who the boss is. People work for bosses they hate every day. So at the end of the day, it's about who's going to pay. And then if you're a person who is a person who plays in that game, then everything is fair. But to me, you gotta be, as a Black American, it's real simple. You put us first and then everything else comes next. It's a trickle-down effect that'll happen because we will buy into the economy and stimulate the economy the way we've always done. It's funny that everybody else is now dealing with what we've been dealing with for hundreds of years. And I don't just mean the slavery aspect. I mean that after slavery, the fact that, again, having to pay for water, I hate that shit. If you lived in an area that used to be country area that had city water come in there, you come from a place where y'all didn't have to pay for water, and now you do.
Because it was a well, but it was, so in essence you're saying that, but there wasn't a legitimate infrastructure for water supply.
No, I'm saying that there was, because there was communities structured around these water systems that everybody benefited from. But now the government, quote, quote, racism, white supremacy, gets to say what resources are going to be exploited by whom, versus communities who had already been together saying that this is going to benefit us. Let's use it this way. I mean, California not having no water when there's water all around is kind of strange, unless it's because people have control over these resources.
Because of capitalism, they privatized it.
Capitalism, racism, white supremacy, I'd say same difference, except for the fact that I don't have an issue with the system of capitalism as long as it's fair for all who play.
But capitalism could never be fair, ever.
No,
like
it's never going to be
fair.
It's never going to be a system where everybody has the same thing. There's not going to be equality in capitalism. I don't want equality. I want equity. But equity is not given, it's earned. And then once it's earned, then you have to stake your claim. I mean, you can have equity in your house. The bank's not just going to give you the money because you didn't ask for it. And then, okay, so what? You've got equity in your house. You ask for it. They could say, your credit's fucked up. Okay, but you've been paying into your house for 30 years. You've paid off the mortgage. You should be able to use the money that you've earned because it's yours. But then you've got a system in place saying, actually, nah, you haven't been doing the things that we want you to do. So yeah, it's your money, but no. And yeah, we're going to tax you on that money every year, but nah, I'm sorry. It's cold, but it's been cold for us. I like that people are getting used to the climate because, I mean, to me, it just all seems like a natural series of events. It was real hot. Now it's going to get real cold. And then, because when it was real hot, you could fuck whatever you wanted to fuck, do whatever you wanted to do. Trump came in on the first day and said, there's 2 genders. And people
I know you love that.
I did. I loved everything about that because I don't care how.
But how is there not being? So how is multiple genders impact you?
No, it's more about the teaching or the reteaching of science. The maths. Now, how
but he's not going to
feel
be now science
is
related.
different. I don't care how someone feels. That's what I would love people to get with. You could care less I don't care how someone lays up, as long as it's consensual, right? And then as long as it's legal. But then from there, people have too much say on things that we shouldn't have say on. I don't give a shit who you lay up with, but as soon as you start trying to say that you cut your dick off and added some titties and you're a woman, that's a problem because there's women out here. We already got a word for it. You want to feel, you want to be something else. That's great. That's great. Identify, name yourself, bitch. Like, go ahead, girl. Yes. Clang. I don't know what you call it, but do that. But you can't be out here trying to say that you're me because I'm out here. That to me, that was a big one. I'm very happy that that's something that got said on a government level because biology exists for a reason. But now, Jesse, do you have to participate in someone's delusion? No. To me, as an educator, I've had some gay identifying students. Did I say that he was a she and she was a he? No. But if Billy wants to be called Sally, I don't give a shit. Is little Sally gonna do her damn work? And I'm sorry. What I meant was, is little Sally gonna do his damn work? Because that's really what it ends up being for me at the end of the day. I'll call him Sally if he wants to be called Sally, but why are we talking about anything more than that? I'm your goddamn English teacher. People doing too much in these schools, and that's when the earth was hot. Well, now the earth is getting cold, and people are having to deal with the cold, whatever it looks like for them. That's my point. I know I said a lot, but
girl, I don't even know how I'm gonna address all your shit. I'm trying to like
don't have to address all of it, but start with the look, because I know you got specific things. I would like you to start with
I'll start with the water.
There we go. Start there.
So we'll start with the water. So the early 19th century, both London and New York, when they started to establish their water facilities, that's when they started charging for it. It really didn't pass on to the late 1950s and 60s. Also want to keep in mind that feudalism is another form of slavery, and that was both of those systems existed and they both fueled capitalism. So to say something's exclusive to just slavery, and again, I'm not against saying that something that I do understand that America was built off the backs of African Americans, but I also understand too that the first slave in America was actually a Black man who was an indentured servant initially that tried to escape, and then they put him in forever servitude. So in essence, too, there were people coming over to America that happened to, most of them were white, and they were actually working or doing whatever, and people were benefiting off them. The wealthy have always benefited off of everybody, and that's really the point I want to make. I'm a Fred
Yes,
Hampton.
and that's why I said America doesn't give a shit about Americans, period.
They love to
white ones or black ones.
each other. They love to make it seem like one person has more cookies than the other person. The other person's going to grab your cookies while these motherfuckers are sitting here making billion-dollar Bitcoin fucking cryptocurrency and all this other shit. To me, as much as I want to be like, oh, it's race, everything to some degree is race related, right? But at the end of the day, too, it's class. because I know there's way more motherfucking trailer park whites than there are black folks in the ghetto, if we're being fucking honest. But we love
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all.
You don't have to agree.
I got a different
the numbers, the
math.
statistics don't lie. Now, you may say ratio wise, but actual numbers, not ratio, not a comparison to this totality of a group. Ratio wise, no. But actual number wise, there are poor white fucking. That's fine. Like it's a fact. Like it's not.
No, I would say that the people who write the numbers have a very good reason to lie about the numbers. You can't exist in a group of people that
make themselves look like actually they're the best. I think whites love to make it look like all whites are doing well. I think they hide their fucking trailer parks. You don't get to see like the way you'll see some black folks show up.
Yeah, for sure. That's why they don't know that they're the number one food stamp and welfare recipient.
Oh yeah.
What I'm saying about the numbers though is that it's you. If you look at the census, you want to talk data. If you look at the censuses starting in 1890, which I guess is 20 years after the
reverse
census
racism. I can never say something was reverse racism. Jesse, go to hell.
I would say that if you look at the census data, white America has had this crazy boom for like 100 years. And then after that, they're in this rapid decline. And to me, the only way that really happens is either they're dying in numbers that they're not reporting, or they fudged the numbers a long time ago, and now everything is starting to catch up to itself. I'd say all that to say that they had a very real reason for trying to tell everybody that there's more of us than them. Why? Because if we are under the illusion that there's more of them, then we will never really stand up and do the things that we know that we can do. Point. South Africa learned apartheid from racist America. Another point, 98% of South Africa is Black. So 2% of South Africa being able to exploit and control the resources of an area that is majority Black, and I don't mean 55%, I mean 98%, means that they learned from a system where there was other white people in a minority capacity. So people should look at the numbers and then take that into consideration with regards to what we get to see, what they choose to show us, and then what we see on our own. Because you got Donald Trump saying that it's alternate facts out here for the reason that you said. They don't like showing their degeneracy. But when we all got phones, you can't tell me that what I recorded with my own phone is alt facts. No, that's real facts. I saw that woman doped out on the corner looking like a zombie. Methadone clinics start popping up. Black America says, but during the crack epidemic, y'all was throwing us in jail. And they say, that was just the times. No, all of this is race related.
I mean, that was a combination of all of it. But I mean, I think to say that, so here's my thing, even when you use South Africa as an example, what powers did they have backing them in order to do that? What access? No different than, to be honest with you, there was more Africans than whites, even when they started bringing the slave trade started, when we're talking about the Iberian slave trade, or even the one with the Englishmen. There were more.
Well, I would agree. Oliver Cromwell was a Black man, Marie.
But I'm saying, in essence, it was about resources. It was about guns, ammunition, money, the things that, and so at the end of the day, while things are like, even to, there's nothing that will ever compare to chattel slavery ever, sure, right? But we do understand that they were able to do it because of the shit they had. They were pitting tribes against each other. They were, and again, and not that tribes aren't against each other, because believe me, just because you're African does not mean that you're each other's brother, right?
They're right. No, that's not existed in the history of people. Have any people been on the same side of shit? There's always going, even when there's no white people here, there's gonna be shit, y'all. Y'all just
absolutely, because it's a human thing. Unfortunately, it's a pattern of human behavior. And that's why, to some degree, and again, I'm not negating or saying that race doesn't play a factor, but I do think that at the end of the day, even if we eradicated racism, that classism would supersede that. And
that's why I started with the first woman
right now.
That's why I started with the first woman, because I would agree at the end of the day, it is class. Do I think America is ready for a class war? No. Do I think that it could happen accidentally? Yeah, absolutely. You got Luigi's out here just doing things like shit. Yeah,
Luigi
we
popping
could.
that, he popping his shit. I
I'm
hope
just
he's
saying,
more
like,
Luigi.
we could accidentally find ourselves in the middle of a civil war because some people are fed up. And I don't know if y'all just don't know enough white people, but I know plenty of white people. And for what it's worth, the shit that Black America takes with, just the resilience that we all know that we have, other people say, no, fuck that. I'm going to turn this bitch out and then, deal with the consequences. Y'all should look up. There used to be a show called Prison Break, but then when you look at the statistics of people who try to break out of jail, it's alarming. White people do not like being in jail.
No,
They
why
try
don't
to
we do
fucking
it?
break out.
Sometimes I feel like they make good allies. Remember when they set that damn police station on fire? Like,
Look, I'm
if
just
they really
saying.
about that shit,
Sometimes,
the wall, they
right?
are balls to the fucking wall.
The
Like,
enemy of my enemy.
disowning their family members, like, like if you catch the right one, they're with the fucking play. They're like, "What you need me to do?" You like, "Well, calm down."
And Murray, to your point earlier, I mean, why would you take that struggle? Like sometimes I get it, like we doing the opposite way, but it just makes sense to us at the time. So, your white mom getting with your Black dad, to me, anytime that happens, it's because internally she wants to still be here. Because internally, I think people know when their time is up. And then they try to do things like limit abortion for people all across the land.
I don't know.
That don't have nothing to do with y'all.
I feel like everybody really just needs therapy. My mom's stepfather tried to sleep with her. That's why she doesn't like white men. Keep it above.
But look, I mean, if that's part of your culture,
a Black woman, he should have took his ass to therapy. That's why he likes white women. He thinks that all Black women are.
And again, if part of your culture is to ignore shit, look, it's all related. America doesn't give a shit about Americans as much as, here's my belief, you guys. You ready? Americans can save America if we give a shit about ourselves.
We just need Greenland to buy America and call it a day.
That's funny because Greenland doesn't have the fucking money. Like
somebody does. Like somebody does. Sell us to the highest bidder that is in Israel, okay? But it's connected to the Rockefeller family. But you know what? I think that where I was gonna go with this. I honestly feel that
you like the Gulf of America, don't lie.
Did not. The reason why I feel that so many you do see those white people that are against or anti-establishment is because there's still a set of people that really just don't like to see things go right. Like it doesn't have to impact me. Like, even sometimes I'll say things and people are like, well, because no, I'm actually not on welfare. Neither one of my fucking parents have ever been on welfare. My parents' were never on welfare. So it's not that the things that I'm fighting for, the things that I need, or the things that I'm standing up for or advocating for are because they specifically impact me. I hate to see disparity. I hate to see unfair shit. And yes, I get the whole fucking world is unfair and life isn't fair, but there's some things that should be just a little easier. And I've said that before. There's certain things that should just be an inalienable right. And when I'm not seeing that shit occur, it rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong, to my core to see someone treated unfairly, especially if it's blatant. It's almost like I have OCD and I can't, I have to say something. I feel compelled. I feel like I have to, it's almost like a disorder. I can't shut the fuck up about it. I can't.
I think that's the Black in you though, because really the white in you.
I thought it was my ADHD. I thought it was my ADHD, but
maybe that's it. Maybe there's that too. But I think the Black America in general has some focus issues, and therapy could help with a lot of things that we're dealing with. But is it going to be a place that's safe for you? You got to do your math. You got to do your homework and find someone that can help and be a safe space. But I think for what it's worth, it is in your duality that gives me hope, because I know I wouldn't call anybody good people, but I know people who are not out here trying to fuck over Black people. Now, are they good white people? Don't know. But I do know that they're not actively trying to fuck me over or fuck over anybody in my family or anything like that. And then from there, it's like, damn, if we've just got people who just exist, then what do we do if there's problems? And then if we're waiting for other people to solve our problems, then are we the adults in the room, or are we still little babies? You know, this channel is millennials adulting, because at our very big ages, we're supposed to know what the fuck. But every single day of 2025 has been like, what the fuck? Like, somebody got the fucking playbook.
It's the longest year ever, and it ain't even been a full ass month.
Look, Roseanne's rapping, y'all. Not only is she rapping, she's
Come on, Daddy's Home.
Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, no, her song was like Daddy's Home or something.
Oh yeah, talking about. I'm sorry, I never in my life did I think that Roseanne would feel the need to go in any direction that looks like she's trying to trend.
Like somebody really tried to put that shit together too. I was
no, they put it together, and she's twerking her fat flat pancakes on this. I don't get it. Look, Republicans, listen to me clearly, and I'm sorry that you can't see me, but my camera started glitching. But the Democrats fucked up when they started putting these entertainers in the limelight as people to listen to. That I don't think that the twerking to the polls or get your booties to the polls or any of these gimmicks worked with their voter base. So I don't know that Roseanne rapping on a song with a Canadian is going to work with your voter base.
I mean, I think
know.
They're all kind of picking people that which I mean, honestly, lets you know how trashy fucking Americans are. That would even what you came up with. Like, that's who you picked.
Oh no, that's who they picked.
You're not
Roseanne Barr and a Canadian, because I guess the Canadian aspect. Yeah, Drake's had his time and he's going away. But then you got other Canadians who look, America, North America being America, I would be with it if there wasn't a whole South America. Like, we're going to have to do something about all of the similarities between the two continents if we're going to have one name for things. But that's later conversation. Go ahead.
There's an asteroid. It's coming. All lean to the right. Is
it to the right? But is your right my right? Because I feel like
we need to make sure we get that figured out, because the
right.
by the asteroid. And if we don't get hit by the asteroid, then we have to fucking continue this shit.
But if we don't get hit by the asteroid, Elon and his Nazi Reich is sending us to Mars, and the people going are not going to want to go. And they might blow up in space because he don't really.
To me, just the idea. And here's the sad part: Americans still don't want to insurrect; they just want to get on red note.
Look, if you really have a problem with things, don't just say things.
There has to be something more. Like, somebody has to be willing to take the fucking L, take the bullet.
Be Luigi. God damn it.
Be willing to do the thing to make some shit happen. Like, so the funny part is, again, even the insurrection, like the shit that they insurrected for and the shit you should be insurrecting for is wild as fuck to me. You worried about who really won the election? What about the fact that some of these markets need to be fucking regulated? How about the fact that, again, there's thousands of people dying from inadequate health coverage, or even inadequate just health care when they do have the coverage, or they can't afford the coverage, or the fact that groceries are high as fuck and we have executives saying that they're deliberately charging more money for things. Right. The fact that there seems like there's a monopoly on everything, the fact that it seems like our politicians are in bed with all these corporations and the lobbyists, and we have lobbyists writing legislations, and we're picking lobbyists to oversee departments. Like, the fucking Biden picked a lobbyist to oversee the FDA. And then come to find out they're overlooking certain things, bird flu.
Who used to work for them.
Yes. So to me, like, this is insurrector shit. This is like, we need to overthrow some shit. And this is the time they're like, but I'm just trying to get on red note.
I'm just trying to
trying
get my followers up, Marie.
Like, what about my order on TikTok? How I'm gonna track it if they shut it down or whatever? Like, who gonna I'm gonna make a dance? Like, first of all, this is the only generation of people I've seen make a fucking dance to like something they have a problem with. I'm like, so your dad died, and then your stepmother married your brother, and you're dancing? What the
No,
fuck?
your child is in the NICU because you had to have them early because you was living your best life and you on TikTok shaking your ass.
So let's be real honest and transparent right now. Donald Trump, yet again, is president because he's really a symptom of America. This is actually what
Agreed.
Americans really deserve. And they
Agreed.
deserve it for doing nothing. They deserve it for being too comfortable. They deserve it for just trying to secure their own position in white supremacy. And so we can sit here all day long. We can sit here all day long and figure out how. I can tell you exactly how we got here. And we're going to continue to get here until somebody develops some type of moral fucking compass and some fucking values.
Hey, Luigi's and Micah Johnson's alike. Where y'all at? America needs you. Because look, if you're gonna take anybody out, make sure you take one of them with you. Look, that's just my thought. I'm just Eve. Marie shares some of my sentiments sometimes, and sometimes we don't. If you liked our conversation tonight, make sure you join us on Tuesdays. But really, we're probably going to change it again because Marie decided she wanted to better up herself and level up and get some college education in there.
On Tuesdays. I mean, I think we can maybe still do Tuesdays just be at 8 p.m. and 9. So that's or we do Mondays.
So you'll see us on Mondays or Tuesdays around this time. And again, if you liked it, hit the like, hit the subscribe because maybe YouTube will let you know that we're live.
Like, and if you didn't like it, was just Jesse. Who cares what you think?
Look, Jesse loved it because Jesse loves these conversations, and you should be more like Jesse. If you're not gonna stand up, you can support the ones who do, like me and Marie. I'll throw the little links in the banner for a little bit, and then we'll see you next week.
To speak